Chapter 10 of The Wheel of Fortune by a Self-Made Man. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 10. Bert arrives in Philadelphia and gets employment. At Wilmington, Delaware, Bert changed cars for Philadelphia and finally arrived in the city of brotherly love at the Broad Street station early in the afternoon. He bore a letter of introduction to a cousin of Mr. Bates, a publisher and bookseller on 9th Street, near Chestnut. He reached Mr. Love's store without any difficulty, and was fortunate enough to find the gentleman in his office. "I am pleased to make your acquaintance, Master Hawley," said the publisher after he had read the letter, which was a very flattering one. "Mr. Bates says you expect to look for employment in this city, with the idea of remaining here." "Yes, sir," answered Bert politely. "I should be glad to give you an opening in the store if I had a vacancy. However, I can offer you something that will produce better results, pecuniarily speaking, if you should be successful, than a salesman's position. Besides, you would be more independent. The amount of your income will depend entirely on your own efforts. We almost always have an opening in our subscription book department for a bright, energetic lad of pleasing personality to take orders for our serial publications, issued and delivered in monthly parts. If you think you would like to make a trial at it, I will introduce you to the manager of that department, and he will give you an insight into that branch of the business. If you really think I might suit you, I will be glad to have a trial. You've given me the impression that you are adapted to interviewing people. You have an interesting face, your manner is polite and engaging, and you seem to possess that peculiar magnetic quality which attracts persons to you." "I wasn't aware I possessed so many good qualities, Mr. Love," said Bert with a smile. "I don't think I've mentioned all your good qualities by any means," said the publisher pleasantly. "If you take a liking to the business, I am satisfied you will prove successful at it. Our best canvassers make as high as $30 and over a week, and if you have it in you, there is no reason you shouldn't do as well in time." Mr. Love then took Bert upstairs and presented him to Mr. Prescott, the manager of the subscription department, requesting that gentleman to instruct him thoroughly in the details and pointers of subscription book canvassing. The manager was a bright young man of 35. He had started as a canvasser himself many years before, and by adaptability and strict attention to business, had risen to his present responsible position. He gave the boy the benefit of many wrinkles he had picked up himself in the course of his experience as a canvasser. He handed him a printed copy of the stereotyped instructions to small out-of-town agents. "Read that over very carefully, and consider each point as it is there presented, and it will be a great advantage to you, a beginner in the business." "I will do so," answered Bert. "As you are a stranger in Philadelphia, I will give you a pocket map of the city. This will enable you to familiarize yourself with the names and locations of the streets. You had better put in tomorrow walking about town with a view to getting the lay of the land." "I should like to do that first of all," replied the boy. "Have you got a boarding place yet?" "No, sir. I was going to ask you to direct me as to how I shall find a reasonably cheap place." "I can send you to a friend of mine who will be glad to accommodate you. She is a widow and lives in North 12th Street, near Ridge Avenue, which runs differently from many of the other streets, cutting diagonally across the north side. It makes a junction with this street, which is South 9th, at Vine Street, so that it will be a simple matter for you to find your way from your home to this office." And the manager indicated the way on the map. "You will observe that the city is laid out so that the streets run north and south, east and west. This is Market Street here. All numerically named streets, which include Front, which is equivalent to First, and Broad, which takes the place of 14th, cross it. Those on that side, you see, are called North, 2nd, 3rd, etc., while on this side the same streets are called South, 2nd, 3rd, etc. Market Street, like Chestnut, the next important street this side of it, not only runs the entire length of the city between the Delaware and the Schuylkill rivers, but crosses the latter by means of a bridge," and the manager pointed to the spot on the map. "I shouldn't think it would be hard to find one's way about the city after you once get the hang of it," said Bert, looking at the diagram. "It isn't," answered Mr. Prescott. "You'll soon get used to it," and he refolded the map and handed it to the boy, who put it in his pocket. "Now," said the manager, "I'm going to put you out on our picturesque California, a work of which we have only issued 6 numbers so far. I should like to have you come here tomorrow afternoon and read up the published numbers and study the prospectus of the whole work for the purpose of familiarizing yourself with the scope of the publication. This will enable you to talk understandingly to the people you approach for the purpose of getting their subscriptions. Very well, sir. I will now prepare a letter to Mrs. Morgan of North 12th Street introducing you, and will send a boy with you to show you the way. A few minutes later, Bert left the publishing house under the wing of one of the errand boys of the establishment en route for his new home. End of chapter 10.